What's going on, you guys? Theo here with the big review, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and after the not-so-great news that we all received from CM Iori and Netmarble yesterday as it pertains to the SS banners coming out next week, hot off the heels of the Boss Syndrome events, I figured that we could all use a little bit of brevity on this Friday, so that's exactly what we're going to be doing today, as I am going to be bringing you a very fun meme team against Immortal Victor that I decided to do for the lulz, and it actually turned out to be pretty impressive overall. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a short summon session and do a little bit more. So if you are new to the channel and have not already done so, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. And let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So the first thing that I do want to make sure that I bring up in today's video is going to be the fact that that check-in log for the 5,000 rubies has officially begun. So for those of you who are not very good at logging in every single day, at least make sure that you are logging in for 7 of the next 12 days in order to make sure that you get this 5,000 free rubies, because you will definitely want that over the course of the next week with the lament of the new SS banner, so that you can at least try your luck at those banners even if you are dead broke from the Boss Syndrome events. So that is something I did want to make sure that I brought up today, as that has officially begun. But let's go ahead and talk about the main topic in today's video. And this started out, for those of you who are not in my Discord, as a bit of a running joke for myself. I had said to people on there that I was going to try and do some of these Immortals with one team of nothing but Geese. And so the Flock of Geese strat has officially begun, and we are going to be taking a look at it against Immortal Victor here. So this will be the first time Immortal Victor has been available since the drop of the new Boss Syndrome characters, and therefore I figured instead of using a team of nothing but Boss Syndrome characters, it would be a lot more fun to have a little bit of fun with a team of nothing but Geese, being that he is one of my favorite characters in SNK. And so first and foremost, the character that makes this entire team run is going to be, of course, Nightmare Geese himself. Now, as far as the loadout here, and this is just a joke team, this is a meme team, so this isn't a team that you have to use to get through this by any stretch of the imagination. There are a ton of better teams out there. I have a complete guide on Immortal Victor in my guides playlist here on the channel if you want to check that out. Like I said, this is just for fun, so I'll go ahead and show you guys what I ran on these guys. So basically with Nightmare Geese here, I ran an Orochi set as well as a Chrysalid option and a Maxima cooldown reduction card. Now primarily, really the only thing that I feel like you really need for these characters is going to be Rashomon EX. You're going to need at least 2 of these in order to do this with this team, because you are going to need this to stop the clock, because it has that amazing 10-second long animation as a 3PG finisher. So you'll need to make sure you have 2 of these, one for Nightmare Geese and one for Geese 14. But otherwise, you can use any of your strong fest sets on your characters here, so you don't need the Orochi set. You can use like a Leah or an Akane or anything like that in order to get through this, and you'll do just fine. So that is going to be what we used there. As far as the stones, I've already talked about these on him in the past, but I am running a Volume 1 Circle Stone on my Nightmare Geese for attack, and then I'm running 2 of the Volume 2 stones to round out his stone loadout. So that is going to be Nightmare Geese. Moving on to Geese 14 here. Geese 14 is going to have 1 stone total, and it's not even fully leveled up. Stones are not that important for this. Really, what is important, again, is going to be Rashomon EX, so that he can help stop the clock, especially considering the fact that Lady Geese is, she's no bueno for that. So, I did use a Leah set here for this particular Geese, and then another Chrysalid option, and a Leona option. Same story here as with Nightmare Geese. All you really need is this guy. Otherwise, you can use any of your good attack-based fest sets, and then any of your cooldown reduction cards. Probably want to go with Maxima ones if you're on a budget, because keeping this particular Geese alive against Victor tended to be the only real hang-up for this team, so just keep that in mind. Then finally, the last character, the worst one out of all 3, to be honest with you, for this run, because her finisher is just so terrible, Lady Geese. So with Lady Geese, I did go ahead and use the City of Darkness set, of course, because, well, I mean, it's a Geese team. You have to be running that set, right? But beyond that, it is the best possible set for an Immortal run, so if you have it, make sure you run it. If not, again, same story here. You can use any of your good attack-based sets and you'll be just fine. And then, same story with the option cards. You can use any cooldown reduction cards that you want. I just chose to use these, but it doesn't really matter. You can get by with any of those. And really with her, you're going to notice from the footage, she isn't able to get through and do very much with this team, to be honest with you. She's really just here to be another name for Geese, because to be honest with you, this finisher it's not very good. Lady characters, they always got 5 PG finishers, and this one being a grab, it doesn't do much of anything against Immortals. So, but in order to have a third Geese for the team, we decided to go this route because the other Geese that are in the game, they're not very good, so we'll just go with that. But that is going to be the loadout for those characters. That's the team. Let's go ahead and jump into this and have a little bit of fun, because this was pretty entertaining to watch. Oh, and one more thing before I forget, and even though it probably doesn't honestly matter whatsoever, but I want to make sure, just for posterity's sake, those are the stones that are going to be on my Lady Geese. So, yeah, not anything too great, but it's not like I'm going to ever build her out fully anyway, more than likely. So, yeah, that is going to be the stones. So let's go ahead and jump into this footage and take a look at this team in action and see how it performed. So, for those of you who are new to the channel, you may or may not know this yet about myself, but I consider myself a bit of a fan of Geese. I'm just a little bit of a fan. He's kind of one of my favorite characters in SNK, so this was a little bit of a near and dear project to my heart, as you can tell, and you probably could assume from the fact that I built out all of these Geeses and maxed out all of them. I just love Geese, so this was something I wanted to have some fun with, and yeah, there is a lot of Raging Storm that goes on in this video. So yeah, basically with this run, you will want to make sure that you have at least 2 Rashomon EXs, like I said, and you will want Nightmare Geese as your leader for that extra boost to your power charge, and you'll be basically just trying to stop the clock as much as humanly possible, the same way that you would with any Immortal run, because what you are trying to do with this one team run is try to buy yourself as much time as possible, and you're actually kind of fighting your own team just a little bit, because Lady Geese, as good as she is for certain things in PvE, anything that is time sensitive like this, she is just not great at, and it's very unfortunate. We've talked about her in the past. If she had a 3 PG finisher that had a long animation on it, she would actually be really, really powerful, but unfortunately, she doesn't have that option. Being a lady character, they tend to not to give the lady characters 3 PG cards, unfortunately. So you got to make do, and as you'll be able to tell throughout this footage, she was not doing a whole lot to help out the team when it came to the clock, so you really do have to rely on the big boys in order to get through this, but she does decent damage, so hey, not too bad, and she is a green element, which does have the advantage against Victor, so she does have some things going for her, but it is what it is. Now, whenever you're doing this sort of thing, the biggest thing that you need to make sure that you try to do, and you just saw my Nightmare Geese use Raging Storm, you need to try and at least juggle it to where he is not using Raging Storm often, because you really want to make sure that he is firing off Rashomon EX as much as possible, so you need to try and time it so that he isn't going to be doing that, and being that you usually will want to have semi-auto on for these types of runs, he will fire off Raging Storm if the cooldown is not finished for Rashomon, so you'll need to make sure that you're bouncing in between your characters and juggling properly in order to make this work. But we're doing really well here as far as damage over time. We're stopping the clock at a pretty decent clip, even with Lady Geese not really necessarily doing a whole lot to help our case. So with Rashomon EX, we've already talked about this in the past as it pertains to Nightmare Geese especially, but also with Geese 14. At the end of the day with Rashomon EX, it shows the raw power that a long animation finisher has in this game. Any character that has a long 3PG animation is just going to have a whole lot of value in Immortal runs. So honestly, with Rashomon EX, I tried to make sure that I let everybody I possibly could know over the course of the 2 weeks that we had with the Boss Syndrome events to make sure that they tried to get that card, because it is extremely powerful. And honestly, Geese 14, you really would only use if you're a hardcore fan like myself. You really don't need to use him. But if you're on a budget and you're somebody that just needs a good budget red attack type, he's honestly a pretty good option, especially if you have a Rashomon EX card laying around. So I would recommend it. But really with this, the biggest thing that you had to keep in mind, and the thing that I ran into, was just trying to make sure that Geese 14 stayed alive for this entire run, because his HP pool isn't necessarily the best, and his kind of protection he has on his kit isn't necessarily the greatest either. So he will take a pretty decent chunk of damage from Victor over time. So that's why I recommend trying to use maybe Maxima cooldown reduction cards, or any of the reduction cards that are going to give him a little bit of protection, just so that you can keep him alive over the course of the battle, because again, he will take more damage than these other two will. But we're making really good time here, and you can pretty much already tell at this point that we're probably going to be able to get this done. And to be honest with you guys, I was surprised by this. You know, with Lady Geese being the way that she is, with her grab on her S3, I believe her S3 is her grab, as well as having that grab finisher, she's not ideal for this role. But again, in order to be able to fulfill the prophecy of using a flock of geese in order to get through this, I figured that she was the best bet that I had. I could use, and I might try eventually, once I get enough memories to fully build one up, I might try Rashomon EX on one of the gold border geeses in order to see if maybe they have a little bit of budget viability in this sort of stuff, just for the fun. But I don't see it happening, because they are pretty much, I think they're all defensive types, so they don't really fit well into this type of team. But with these guys, they all fit together very nicely and had some pretty good synergy overall. And if you are somebody who is getting bored with PvE, if PvE just isn't doing it for you anymore, my recommendation to you guys is try to do some of this kind of stuff if you can. You know, just prioritize characters you like, have some fun, enjoy it, see if you can do some of the surprising stuff like we were able to do here. You know, challenge yourself. Just try to enjoy it, right? You know, try to have some fun, because at the end of the day, I think that is lost sometimes in the community, that this game is for fun, and if you're not enjoying yourself, then there's a problem that you need to really analyze. And whenever it comes to times like these where things are a little bit, you know, dicey, we'll put it that way, I try to at least have moments of brevity, try to enjoy myself, and try to do things like this just to break up the monotony and break up the drama a little bit. But basically, we were able to finish this with this team. Great stuff. So that is what I wanted to show you guys with this team. I hope you enjoyed that, because I thought it was pretty funny. But next up, let's go ahead and get into our summon session. Alright, you guys, so what we have here is I do have this random Fest memory voucher that we got in our inboxes the other day that we will be using in this summon session. But first, I do have a bunch of these tickets for the Unified banner saved up, so we're going to go ahead and run through these and see if we can't get a little bit lucky. And really with the cards at this point, I know I've said this in the past, but really all I'm looking for at this point is going to be more Serena set cards, because I do have 2 sets. I would kind of like to have 3, I guess. So there's really not... Oh, well, that's a good start. Maybe it's a Serena set card. It's not a Serena set card, though. It's a Ryogo card. Yay! Woo! Okay, whatever. Not a big deal. Unfortunately, no use for that one, but that's okay. So let's go ahead, use this one here. But yeah, I with Serena set, with the cards in general on the Unified banner, it's been a long time since we've seen anything added to either Unified banner at this point. So there's really not a whole lot on there that I need at this rate. I mean, it just is what it is. So really, I'm just doing this at this point just for the stuff. So to get it out of my inbox, there's really just not much of anything that I need at this point. So let's see if we can maybe get a little bit luckier with the fighters than I did with the cards here. Let's see. Any memory is a good memory at this point, because I do not care what I get as long as I get nothing. Absolutely nothing. But I would like anything at this point. I mean, there's really not a whole lot that I necessarily need. I guess I would like to have a Ness Kyo memory. What else do I need at this point? I need another Shion memory. I'm trying to think. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot there that I need at this point. Well, I could use some more Elizabeth memories. I don't have Goro either. Goro's like the one unified Fest banner character that I do not have. So I guess I would like to have a Goro as well, but yeah, for whatever reason, he has eluded me for quite a long time. So it is what it is at this point, but it's not like I do a whole lot of PvP, so I guess it's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, it'd be nice for completionist reasons to have him. However, it's not looking good, so yeah. Well, there you have it, and there you are. Well, that was uneventful. Maybe the Fest Memory Mystery Box will treat me better, right? Let's find out. Oh, man. Actually, you know what? We have these. What should we do with these? I guess we'll just go ahead and we'll do this real quick. We'll come back to that. I didn't realize that those I didn't even pay attention because those just showed up in my inbox. I didn't even pay attention. Let's see. We get a Shermie. Cool. Awesome. Well, whatever. It's a memory. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll just do the Yellow Plus Imprint Stones. We'll do that, because those are honestly the ones that I use the most. I already have a couple of the HP recovery ones built up, so I don't need any more of those. But anyway, guys, that is going to be today's video. Like I said, I just wanted to keep it lighthearted today and have a little bit of fun with everything that's been going on. So that's what I was trying to do today, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the meme run against Immortal Victor. If you enjoyed it, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the Saturday Chat and Chill tomorrow. So until then, you all take care, enjoy your Friday, peace.
Continue.